Okay. Yeah.
Hi, Peace.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm great. Thanks
Good
for the invite.
afternoon. Thank you. And you? How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for initiating this series that we're going to have. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. So, may I ask, what prompted you to want to do this series about coverage for life?
Awesome. Thank you very much. First of all, my name is Peace Anyira, but everyone calls me Mother of Nations. And I always joke and say, well, not just, I always say, I'm the only one who is entitled to be called Mother of Nations, and every other one you hear is a counterfeit. Well, realistically, I have spoken with several people, and we find out that people are not aware of, the way things operate, you know, currently in life. People are not prepared for certain events that happened, down the future. But in order for us to safeguard ourselves, in order for us to prepare for, eventualities that may or may not happen, we need to be aware. We need to have this information, and information is very key. I found out that when someone is aware of, a particular step to take in life, it helps them, being able to prepare themselves. And this was one of the issues, that I found out in our community as a person that we need to learn. So, firstly, when I looked at, what brought about the topic securing your future, so many events have happened to people and they are caught off guard. Financially, they are broken. Financially, they can't sustain themselves. So you can imagine if right now you're having those states, not talk of when you go towards retirement. Are you planning for the future? Are you planning for a time where you are not working, but you need to be able to pay your bills? Are you planning for a time whereby, you just want to pay your kids' school fees or you want to do something? Those are things we'll be talking about. And in summary, I just call it you're securing your future, having
Yep.
financial security. Tell us how we want to make money work for us. We don't want to work, 24/7. There's a time in life you just want to relax, you want to take out time to be, with yourself, but you want money to be somewhere increasing, yes, invested, that will work for you. And that will help you protect both your life, your health. So these are part of, or many more in the series that we'll be talking about, as time goes on.
Yeah,
Again,
you're
I'll
right.
be
You're right. Life is unpredictable, and financial risk, it does come in many different forms, and we do need to be prepared.
yes, that's very true. And so I know we actually, did out a live some time back, and we asked people to send in questions as regarding securing your future. We have a couple of, questions that we did receive, but could you first of all just take us through a brief, what are the biggest, like, what are financial risks that people face currently, and how have they managed it? Let's say maybe use through insurance or through whatever means they were able to manage their financial risk.
Yeah, and as I said, life is unpredictable, right? And if we're not prepared, the risks to us can be quite significant. And things happen. We can get ill, we can get in a serious accident and be disabled, unable to work. Or you know what? The breadwinner in the family could pass away. And then what happens, right? Are we able to bear that burden, that financial burden, that weight? Or do you want to instead pass that risk to somebody else, like an insurance company who are in the business of safeguarding you, providing that safety net, and in absorbing that financial shock that a loss of a loved one, an illness or a disability, or even a medical emergency can cause on our pockets, right? So instead of draining our savings or even going into debt to um, go through these events should they happen in our lives, we can pay pennies on the dollar instead for an insurance policy that provides that safety net that ensures that no matter what happens, right, you're able to handle it financially and your goals, your financial goals, aren't derailed as a consequence. So it's very important in my mind, and you already said it, it's very important, you believe too, for individuals to know about these solutions.
Yes, thank you. I think that leads to the next question which we got, which is, people were asking, they don't know the reason why they should have insurance. Neither do they know why they should invest, even in any business, to have a return. So most times people delay investing, people delay having a business, people delay buying insurance. The fact is that sometimes this insurance, people don't even know the exact type of insurance they should buy, and they don't know the consequences. Would you want to tell us? I know sometimes they say the older you get, the more, it's harder. But some other people will say the day you start is your now. So how would you, explain the consequences of waiting to actually get yourself secured, either investing or buying insurance or stock or whatever you want to do, versus delaying to get this information, you know?
You know what? We have two groups of people. One will say, I'll get it later. And the other will say, you know what? I wish I knew this 10 years ago. Well, for those who are saying, I'll get it later, this is actually your 10-year starting line, right? You are right, right? Some people think it's complicated, so they don't even venture into finding out more information. Some people think it's too expensive, so they don't even try to ask a question. But the longer you wait, the more risk you have of getting a situation happening in your life and not having that coverage, right? And at that point, it is too late, right? So my advice is that, you know what, just start the conversation. Start the conversation, get some information so you are better able to evaluate your situation. And yes, the cost of insurance does go up with age, right? So get it when you're young and healthy, because as your age goes up, and if you should develop health conditions, it could make it harder to qualify, even more expensive, or you might find that you can't qualify at all, right? So instead of risking that, right, put the safety net in place for yourself. Procrastination can be one of the most expensive decisions or mistakes that anybody could make, right? Putting it off.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a good one. The next question was talking about how do we protect our families, our businesses, and our profession, from unexpected financial hardship. Before I let you speak, I want to just share, maybe this can actually help certain people. We've had times where, we know some people that they've fallen sick and they cannot work, which means income doesn't come into the family. But because they had insurance at the nick of time, some were lucky to get it maybe days or weeks before it, maybe they are diagnosed, or whatever. Um, they were able to pay their bills. They were able to live comfortably without the fear of, going down the drain, if you know what I mean, or being so much in debt. Then in terms of if you don't have a job at that moment, because you have a coverage, you know that you have something to cushion your business with. So I think I'm asking the question, but let's focus on insurance. We're going to break them into segments, talk about the investment part, but let's focus on insurance. How can insurance protect the family? How can it protect your business as an entrepreneur? How can it protect your profession?
You know what, Peace? You make a very good point. Whether you are raising a family, whether you're running a business, whether you're building a career, your financial stability is dependent on having that consistent income. Whenever that income gets interrupted, you know what? Life can go AWOL, right? And if you're not prepared, if you don't have that insurance coverage, things could definitely fall apart, because people believe that, you know what, I can save my way to preparedness, but you don't know the timing of something, right? You could go out, get
Yes,
hit by a car,
very
and you're
true.
disabled, right? You can fall at work and you're disabled. So get the coverage, right? And have that safety net in place. Disability insurance is what you could get on a monthly basis should you become disabled due to an illness or an injury. You could get a monthly money is being paid to you that can help you cover your living expenses, your medical bills, right? That protects your income. If you should get critically ill, a critical illness payout could provide you with the financial resources that you need to, again, cover your living expenses, but also to access care that you might need. And you wouldn't otherwise be able to fund it because you don't have the financial resources to do so, right?
Yeah.
For a business owner, if you have business overhead expense coverage and you get ill, especially if you're an active business owner, you're working in your business, you're an electrician, you're a plumber, you're a contractor, you're actively working in your business. And if you can't show up for work, that means you can't get paid, right? You might still have your rents on your place, your leases to pay, your business loans to pay, your other contractual obligations. What business overhead expense coverage does is provide that money to sustain your business while you're recovering, right? So at the end of the day, you can basically jump right back in, right? Your business doesn't have to close shop because you're unable to work. So regardless of whether your situation, whether you're raising a family, building a career, or you're a business owner, you do need to get coverage.
Awesome. So around this, we have some common myths that people talk about insurance. How can we shift our mindset, to think of the value and not think of it like, why will I be paying $100 or $200 to an insurance company just so they can have the money? How can we be unlearn, and refine tune our mindset or shift our mindset to look at the value, the end goal?
Yes. My question, if somebody said, give me $100 today, and in the future, when you need it, I'll give you $1,000,000, what would you say?
Right away. I need that
Right
million
away,
dollars.
right? And that's basically what insurance does. It's a promise to pay, right? And what you actually put into it is just a small fraction of the potential payout, right? And as you said, it is a mind shift that we need. We need to consider investing insurance premiums as actual investing in our peace of mind, in our financial security, because the fallout can be catastrophic, right? So, and there are certain myths about it. Some people believe that insurance is just for the wealthy. Actually, it's for everyone, right? And I feel if you don't have the financial resources, you don't have that stash of cash to float you during hard times, you really need insurance, right? Because you don't have any fallback plan. And the other myth is that, you know what, your employer offers you coverage. But when you really think about it, will it be enough? Right? And what if you change employers? What if you lose your job? That coverage that you have through your employer is also gone. So invest in your own peace of mind, right? Invest in future proofing your finances, right? You're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of your loved ones by doing so.
So does that, kind of sum up to the fact, like, if I'm investing right now, I'm trying to, look at the question in a very realistic manner. In the future, when I retire, I'm going to be paid. Is it that the payment is going to come monthly, or is it that I'm going to have a bulk payment, like the 1 million you promised me? Because I'm glad we're online, so I have evidence that you promised to give me $1 million. So am I going to get that? So when someone retires and has an insurance, because we're dealing with insurance section right now, are they paid monthly or is it like a bulk payment? And at what point in time do they get that payment?
Actually, when you talk about retirement, you're actually thinking about the investment portion of what insurance can do for you, right? When it comes to the insurance part, remember, it's an event that triggers a payout, right? And the product might be structured where you have periodic payments, like monthly payments, or you have a lump sum. For example, a critical illness policy would be a lump sum payout after surviving 30 days of a critical illness, right?
Okay.
While disability coverage is actually a monthly payout based on whatever you had agreed on and when you bought the coverage, whether it's for 2 years, 5 years, or until you're 75 years old, right? It depends on the plan that you purchased. For business overhead coverage, it's up to 2 years that you could access that business income replacement to pay your fixed contractual expenses. Life insurance pays out, again, these payouts, one of the good things about it, they're tax-free, right? Who doesn't love tax-free money? When that death benefit is paid, it comes to the family tax-free at the passing of that loved one, right? So it depends on the contract that you're entering into. Of course, when you take an insurance policy, definitely make sure that you understand the terms of that policy, the conditions that exist. Depending on your health, etc., the level of due diligence that the insurer takes, right, might impact the timing of your payout. So, of course, always talk to your advisor. Ask as many questions as necessary to make sure that you're comfortable.
Awesome. So this leads us to, I know we're wrapping up the time for today. Maybe if on the next session, could you give us like a rundown of what each of the different insurance policies entails? I know you mentioned there's a life insurance, there's a term insurance, there's universal, all the different types of insurance. If you could lay them out, because it would actually help people make the right choice. What am I going to go for? What suits me? Am I doing a combined, insurance, which will benefit me based on my goal? And then one of the questions I would also put out there is it down the line, if I decide to go with a particular policy and down the line I decide to change, what are the implications and how does it go from there? So I hope we'll all look out for that next week. Next week, Tuesday, same time, 12 o'clock. We'll be bringing that. Cardeen, we'll be hoping you share that. But before we go, I want to ask one question. What is that one takeaway that you would share that will help us start securing based on insurance right now? We're leaving the financial investment part, but let's talk on insurance today. What is that one takeaway that you want the listeners to take home to think about financial in terms of insurance?
Well, you know what? I would encourage them to ask themselves this question. What if something unexpected happened to you today? Right? How would your family survive? How would your business survive? How would you manage? Right? And when you ask yourself that question and you realize that you don't know the answer, my advice to you is to take action now. Reach out to an insurance broker, have that conversation, understand what the process is, right? And get your financial situation protected, right? You're future-proofing yourself. And it's up to you to do that. Nobody else. Not your employer, not the government. It's up to you.
Awesome. Thank you. So that means you need to take action now. Your now is a starting point. If you've not done it, if you've not gone into investments, whether in true insurance, you need to take action right now. There are so many things you'll be saving by doing that. Thank you everyone for listening in and tuning in today. Again, my name is Peace Anyira, and with me I have
Cardeen Williams.
Yes. See you all next week, same time. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.